Hi guys, this is iGameForMoney, or Damien, and today I'll review my first guide, a Jayce guide. I can honestly say he's one of my favorite champions, and I've played him more than pretty much any champion in the game. I have about 600 wins, and I'd say about 100 of those are with Jayce. I really love him, he's a great champion. So I'm going to share my knowledge with you about what I know about one of my favorite champions. First of all, for runes, I like to run on Jayce Glyphs of Magic Resist, Seals of Armor, and Marks of Attack Damage. And then on my Quints, I like to run Quints of Armor Pen. Next, on Masteries, for an aggressive Jayce game in a lane where I know I either have the advantage or they can't really kill me and I have a better chance of killing them, I like to run 4 points in Sorcery for the cooldown reduction so I can spam my abilities. I like to have 4 points in Deadliness so that I have attack damage per level, helps me last hit, poke them down, get kills. Blast for the ability power, not because I actually need the ability power, but because of this, Arcane Knowledge. Magic Pen, Jayce actually does deal a lot of magic damage, and so Magic Pen really helps with dealing more of it without them being able to it really just helps do damage. Armor Pen, for obvious reasons, he deals physical damage as well, so it just penetrates their armor and helps me kill him. Havoc for increased damage, obvious reasons, you need to deal damage. Brute Force for some attack damage, just help last hit. Sunder, Armor Pen, obvious. Executioner increases damage level by 5% to targets below 50% health, helps me kill people that are lower health. And then instead of running points in defense, because it's an aggressive Jayce page, I like to run points in utility, where I run 3 points in meditation for mana regen, so I can continue to use my abilities. 1 point in wanderer, just so I can get back to lane quicker. 3 points in mastermind, so I have more flash, more ignite, easier ways to get kills. And then the next page that I like to run on Jayce, and I use it more than I use my aggressive page, is my defensive Jayce, which is a 9-21-0 page. I run 4 points in durability for health per level, 2 points in hardness and 2 points in resistance, armor and MR, obvious reasons. 2 points in unyielding, reduces damage from taking from champions, means I can harass without getting harassed back, helping win a lot of trades. Relentless, which reduces slows, it lets me go in for kills, get away a lot easier. Veteran Scars, obvious reasons, you need health. Juggernaut, also for health. Block, reduces damage taken from basic champions' basic attacks, helps me win trades and stuff. Legendary Armor, increase my bonus armor and MR, makes me tankier. And Honor Guard, reduces damage taken by 3%. Then, I don't know if I said this, Sorcery for the cooldown reduction spam, Deadliness, attack damage per level, and Weapon Expertise for some Armor Pen. Those are what I like to run for Masteries and runes on my Now for some abilities. Jayce's first ability is called Shock Blast, which shoots out an orb of electricity that detonates upon hitting an enemy or reaching the end of its path, dealing 60 plus AD physical damage to all enemies in the area of the explosion. Looks like this. Now, cool modification that I'll tell you to Shock Blast is when you put out your Acceleration Gate, which is your third ability, and that deploys an Acceleration Gate for 4 seconds, increasing the movement speed of all allies who pass through it by 30% for 3 seconds. The bonus fades over the duration, which means it's not like flat movement speed, so you're not going to keep the movement speed and then all of a sudden lose it. It'll just slowly get slower as you go along. If Shock Blast is fired through the gate, the missile speed and range will be increased, and its damage will be increased by 40%. So what it means by this is if you put your Acceleration Gate out, and you shoot your Q through it, it goes flying way farther than just the original Q. Jayce's next ability is called Hypercharge. It gains a burst of energy, increasing attack speed to a maximum for 3 attacks. These attacks do 70% of your normal damage on auto attacks. Looks like this, not really anything exciting, just 3 increased attack speed auto attacks. His fourth ability is called Transform Mercury Hammer. It's got no mana cost, so it lets you spam it between going to lane and stuff. Transforms the Mercury Cannon into the Mercury Hammer, gaining new abilities and 5 armor and magic resist. The next attack in Hammer stance deals an additional 20 magic damage. So, basically, you go like this, and boom, that's what it does. Changes your stance. It lets you have 3 different abilities. But to bring this into play right now, is passive is Hextech Capacitor. Gains 40 movement speed for 1.25 seconds and can move through units each time it's cast. So basically what it's trying to say with this is when you can run right through minions, you won't get minion blocked, you won't have to see, like, without it, I minion block, push that minion out of the way. With it, you don't get to do that, you can just walk right through them. Makes it good for escaping and chasing. Now, his melee form ability is called To the Skies. To the Skies is where you leap to an enemy, dealing 20 damage physical damage to enemies and slowing them by 30% for 2 seconds. To the skies, in-game, looks like this. Jayce's second ability in his melee form is called Lightning Field. Passive, on Lightning Field, you gain 6 mana per strike while in Hammer Stance, so whenever you attack a minion with this stance on, you gain mana back, which is good for regenerating mana after you're spamming your combos to poke him down. Is active, creates an electric aura around him, dealing 100 damage, magic damage, over 4 seconds to nearby enemies. Looks like this. Basically just a pretty much an AoE ability. It's really good if you're trying to farm, or if someone's on your D and you're trying to poke them back, get them maybe to get off of it. Next ability is Thundering Blow. This deals 8% of the enemy's maximum health as magic damage and knocks them back a short distance. It deals 200 maximum damage against monsters. Thundering Blow in game looks like this. Next, I'm going to go through a couple quick combos that I use constantly on Jayce and are really helpful when playing him solo top or mid, whatever you prefer to play him. I myself play him top, but that's just my preference. It's what I play and I'm the best at. So a quick combo is E and shoot your Q right through it. Pretty basic damage, does more damage than just a normal Q. Increases the range so you can hit him from farther away. Really good combo. Good to poke down enemies, kill minions, farm, counter someone pushing against you. Quick tip that not many people know as Jayce that you can actually do is you can shoot your Q and quickly throw your your acceleration gate, and it'll actually, the Q will catch the gate and go right through it without having to cast your E first, making it a lot less obvious that you're going to acceleration gate, making it a lot easier to poke. Another quick combo that I like to use is I shoot my Q to EW and then alt, run right through the gate, and you gain a lot of movement speed. You can come right through and do your Q in your melee form and your E in your melee form, which if you can land the range form combo, it really does a ton of damage and can really poke down someone. And then not only that, if you run through the gate and land your QE in melee, it's even more damage, really shuts down the enemy and really puts them, like, their health way down. It really pokes them. It's really useful. For summoners, pretty basic. I run Flash Ignite. You can run whatever you want. Basically, it's kind of preference, but Flash is good for obvious reasons. You can just flash over walls. You can ignite enemies to make sure they don't get away with low health. Really useful summoners. Hey guys, here's some quick gameplay for my guide of my most recent Jayce game. I go 8-0-4. Of course, I'm not going to go through the entire gameplay. It's just for something to have on as I talk about what I do in Jayce in team fights, how I do in lane, some build paths, how I max my abilities. So basically when I start out a game as Jayce top, I like to stand in this bush to guard my jungle's blue. It's pretty good, you know, it's just so that I don't get caught out. I can see if I ever think there's someone over there, I can check with my Q. Not much else. I mean, I just help out, you know, with wolves auto attacking, make sure that I don't take them, make sure I stay away from the XP, let my jungler get it, help out, you know, just ward. And now here I'm talking about some things. For Jayce build paths, it really does depend on the game. I mean, if you want to start out a game like I am right now, I started out Flask Ward, Health Potion. That's good for some sustain if you want some mana, which you could use as Jayce. If against a strong AD kind of guy like a Pantheon or someone that can really poke you down quickly with AD, you can run Cloth 5. You don't really need to start Boots Pots anymore after the Season 3 Boots movement speed nerf, so you don't really need to start Boots Pots. If you want to start towards 9 health potions, that's good too. I mean, it's for great sustain. You can sit in lane for years and years and years. Those are just some basic starting things. Things that you can build into that are really good on Jayce are Black Cleaver, obviously. It's really good for his EQ combo because it reduces armor when you hit him, and it really helps you follow up and destroy people. Other good items are things like Warmog, Sunfire, both good because it just gives you health. You can just sit around in team fights and just do damage by being there, attacking, killing people. Other things that I like to build on Jayce are Mana Mirror is pretty good. You want to build tier early, obviously, because then you can stack up the stacks of your mana, get it so you can spam more, and then when you get the Mana Mirror, it's really strong, kill people, and active on Mana Mirror is really, really good. Other things that you can try out, GA is good if you're just really fetish Jayce. Berserkers is what I choose in boots if I'm destroying. Merc Treads or Ninja Tabbies depending on the lane if I'm not doing so well or I'm being passive trying to farm. A really good item if you're destroying his Jayce is Bloodthirster for obvious reasons. You can stack AD, and since Jayce is kind of an AD caster top, you just need AD. I mean, it really helps you out. And lifesteal is always good. I heard that Wriggles is not that bad this season for a solo top. I mean, if you're getting absolutely destroyed by someone AD like Pantheon or anything, if you're getting just absolutely destroyed, build Wriggles because it gives you war, armor and lifesteal. Try and stay away from items like Phantom Dancer, like IE, because you're not going to be sitting there auto-attacking. That's not really your goal. You're like a bruiser, and you're just going to bruise people. You're not really just going to sit there auto-attack people to death. It's not your role. Other things that are good, always try and get some pots like red pot and stuff like that. Blue pot if you need cooldown reduction. It's kind of more of a late game thing. Black Cleaver, Mormogs, Sunfire, Manamira, other basic bruiser items. You know, it's nothing too special. Jayce isn't really someone where you build something completely out of the ordinary weird on. Atmos is okay. Atmos this season is not that bad. It's still kind of weird. It's not always useful, but you can still use it if you have a lot of health and that's what you need or you think you need. Bloodthirster. If any things that I miss, I'll go back through and list more of the items. Now I'm going to go over basic Jayce laning phase. Basically, in a Jayce laning phase, in a normal laning phase, you're going to want to always ward the river. That's just a basic solo top thing. You're going to want to poke him down. You're not really a guy who's just going to sit back and farm all game. I mean, you can, but you're more of a kill lane. You can destroy people. That's kind of why people love to play Jayce. Always remember last hitting. I mean, that's obviously a big thing on anything you do in League of Legends is, you know, last hit minions. A good goal to set for is like 100 farm at 20 minutes. That's for newer players. Obviously, for more advanced, try and hit like 150, 130 farm at 20 minutes. When someone is ganking for you, a really good way to set up is throw down an acceleration gate, shoot your Q through it or something, and get them to run through it as well. It really works well because then they get increased movement speed. You can catch on to the guy you're ganking and kill him. When you're getting ganked, you're going to want to throw down your acceleration gate, switch to your ultimate, and so you gain the movement speed and the I can't think of what it's called. The freaking unit. You can move through units because then you can just not get slowed and stuck on things. It's really useful. Yeah, basically what I have to do for getaway for gank. If they're really on you, if it's like a melee champion, always remember to use your E to knock back. It's really useful when someone's on you. You can get them off you and get away from ganks and be safe. That's basically what I have to do in laning phase. Poke down people with your EQ combo. Get kills when you can. Don't go overly aggressive and don't get caught. Always ward the river. Make health pots. Next, I'm going to talk about what I max on Jayce in laning phase, like what abilities wise. I always start out with a point E or Q. Q if I want to check bushes, and if I'm just going to start out the lane with basic damage. E if I'm kind of scared of an invade or a strong laning opponent that's going to jump on me really quickly and really early, so I can always knock him back and get away. I basically put points in Q, max Q first. You don't put any points in your ultimate since you start out with it. There's no sense in getting it when it doesn't give you much if you do anyways. And you put points in E and Q whenever they're up. W at level 3 or 4, depending on what you want, so that you have points on your abilities. Then put points in. Once you get those all maxed, if you're getting demolished or team fights are kind of tough, where you need more MR and armor, you're going to want to put points in your ultimate. If you're doing okay and your team is just destroying them, you're going to put points in W, because that's just really good, I guess. I mean, it's AoE damage and mana regen and attack speed when you're auto-attacking someone. That's basically it for abilities. I mean, just do that. I went over items. Next, Jayce team fights. Unfortunately, I don't have any team fight gameplay right now because this game is kind of just me destroying this Teemo and laning phase because Teemo is easy to beat with Jayce. Team fights with Jayce. You're an assassin, but you're also a tank. I mean, you're going to want to jump in on like AD carry, obviously, because Jayce has a good grab closer. He can really land his EQ combo and jump on an AD carry and annihilate them, getting them out of fight early and making the fight 100 times easier for your team to win. After that, after you kill their AD carry, you're going to want to focus, depending on who's fed. I mean, obviously, sometimes it'll be AP carry, sometimes it'll be jungle, depending on how it is. But you're not really going to be on tanks. You can disable by hitting tanks and just get them off of you really and your team. But just try and go for kills, pick up things you can. You can stay in fights if you're building aggro Jayce, just burst people, you know. Kill them with your team. Obviously, if you're building aggressive Jayce, your team is doing well, so you can just annihilate them in team fights. If you're building a defensive Jayce, you just stand around team fight, try and tank as much damage as you can, and really try to get them off your team. Try and focus get them to focus you, so your team can win team fights, come back into the game. Basically, that's all you have to do in Jayce team fights is just do things like that. This is a really good combo right there. Q in melee form into an E is a quick kill because you just deal so much damage. It's percentage. It's really good. That's basically what you do in team fights. Assassinate people if you're playing aggro Jayce, or if you have a tank. If you're playing tank Jayce and you're trying to just keep them off your team, stay in melee form and just disable them on your team. Talked about build pass, talked about ability maxing order, I talked about lane phase, I talked about team fights. Basically, that's what you need to do as Jayce, is do what I said in this guide, you know, run down what you need to do, run down laning phase, you just poke people. You're a really strong champion as Jayce because you can switch between forms and win a lot of exchanges because you have 6 abilities. I mean, you have 6 abilities that do damage and help you out, so it makes you a lot stronger than, say, like, a champion only has 3. That's what the advantage of having 2 stances is. Jayce is a really fun champion. I've played a lot of games with Jayce, so I'm hoping this guy was helpful to you. If it was helpful, please drop the like and favorite. It'll really help me out, make it easier, and want me to make more guides. After this, obviously, I'm going to throw in some highlights of this game because it is a really fun game, and I do really well against this Teemo, because, you know, screw Teemo, right? Anyways, thank you for watching, and please check back to my next videos, and always like, favorite, and subscribe. Thank you.